Okay, so let me start that over. As just a recap with the Do Now, the virtual college fair should be, I believe, this weekend. This is a registration to apply. I think it's a great opportunity. It's really something that could hopefully help some of you figure out if you don't know what you want to do, or you're interested in hopefully making connections with certain professors or administration or admissions, for certain colleges if they're there. It would be a great opportunity. So let's move over to the group chat. And I'm sure you guys can all see the group chat. I'm going to put it on the recording screen. One thing I do want to say is while you guys are putting in your assignments, I'm so tired of hearing about Apple and Amazon. Is there anyone here with something a little more original? You just had oil get to the lowest point in history, and no one's talking about oil businesses merging or car companies buying each other out. You have a huge uptick in small, like 5-employee biopharmaceutical industries that are doing research on this virus, that are going to build something and be a great acquisition target for a larger business like Johnson & Johnson, right? Or Pfizer or Gilead. They'll be looking to pick up these super small businesses. And you guys are just sticking with the Apples and the Amazons of the world. I'm not saying that that's bad. It's easy. I will tell you it's easy, probably for two reasons. One, you're more comfortable with those businesses, which you think makes your assignment easier. All right, easy way out, that's fine. Or you're more comfortable with those businesses because you use their products, in which case I do understand selecting those companies, right? But this is a real opportunity to break outside of your comfort zone and look at what would really make a change for some businesses. And I love some of what you guys are doing. Apple buys Netflix. Okay. Apple buys Sonos. Okay. Amazon acquires Etsy. Okay. Apple acquiring Tesla. All right. Amazon acquiring Rite Aid. Amazon acquiring DoorDash. Amazon acquiring Grubhub. Alphabet buys Teladoc. That's the most interesting one to me. Alphabet purchasing Teladoc. That is very interesting to me. Coca-Cola purchasing Heineken. Yes, Vincent, you sent me that at like 3 o'clock this morning, right? Google acquires NVIDIA. Now that's interesting because Google just announced that they're going to start making their own chips. So that is interesting. So Kev, now I have to be in full disclosure, and I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I expect an honest answer after I do that, but let's go through the rest of this list. Tesla purchases BMW. I don't know how that's possible. So what you guys have to do is, let's take a look. BMW is worth, what is their market cap? BMW, the market cap didn't show up. Let's see. You got to go market cap. You have to see, like, Tesla is not a large business, right? Their market cap is larger than it probably really should be, but I'm unsure if it's larger than BMW. I'm not even sure if that is BMW. You guys have to do that research. I don't want to take too much time trying to figure this out. Let's see real quick. Financials. In 2019, their revenue was $30 billion. What you would have to find out, Ashley, what is Tesla's revenue, right? You're going to have to compare these businesses. I don't think Tesla was Tesla $100 billion company yet. Does anybody know? Well, I'm not scrolling all the way down because I'm actually looking at all your submissions. So let's continue moving, but I'll explain my concern, Ashley, in a minute. Costco merging with Target. That is interesting and strange all in one, Newman, because Costco is wholesale and Target is not. You know, Target merging with Walmart or Target merging with TJ Maxx would be interesting. Costco with Target, you're going to have to sell that because those are two very different business models. Sony buys LG. Richard, I'd love to hear how you came up with those two businesses because nobody even talks about LG. Yeah, Tyler, keep Teladoc. GE merging with Tesla. Miku, that's a little bit more interesting. Now, Tesla's market cap, Tyler says 139 billion. Okay, and BMW's market cap is 34 billion. So market cap wise, they can afford it if they issue shares. I mean, I don't see Elon Musk having a problem issuing debt either. There's so much debt on their balance sheet. I'm not sure that Tesla and BMW shouldn't merge over, as I think Vincent said, over a purchase, over an acquisition. But you'd have to argue BMW because BMWs used to be like the gold standard of cars when I was your age. Today, BMW is kind of like a really nice Accord. I hate to say it like that, but that's kind of how a lot of people look at them. So would BMW water down Tesla's image? I don't know. Does BMW have some proprietary technology that you can merge with Tesla? I don't know. Mercedes, Vincent, I do like that. I think Mercedes and Tesla is a lot different. I think Mercedes still has that clout in the auto industry, but I'm still not. We're gonna have to discuss how these businesses come together. All right. So I gave you guys the opportunity to unmute yourselves, so I welcome you to do that. I do have to ask you guys a question. How many of you simply just Googled, acquisitions and mergers, and then you read an article and decided that's the one you're doing? That's the cheap way out. I understand that it's possible to do that. I understand it's easy to do that. That is the ghetto, bootleg, cheater, non-economics and critical thinking way to do this. Now, if that's what you guys did, great. Go ahead. You still have to do your research. But I would challenge you, if you haven't started your work yet, right? So if you have not actually started the research, I would consider not locking in on Amazon and Google or Apple. Now, Dylan, I love Amazon purchasing Rite Aid. There's a reason why. However, I believe no, they're not. So Walgreens was trying to purchase Rite Aid. I'm not sure if that went through. If that's the case, if they did merge, if they did actually merge, Boost Alliance to acquire Rite Aid for $17 billion, Rite Aid's enter agreement with Walgreens. 2017 merger. We'd have to find out if they really did. Okay, so Dylan, buying their storefronts is different. Like Planet Fitness can move into another gym's space, right? That's not merging or acquiring another business. You're going to have to find out, did Walgreens acquire Rite Aid? Because if that's the case, then you'll be doing Amazon acquiring Walgreens, not Rite Aid. Because there's no way Walgreens purchases Rite Aid just to sell Rite Aid, right? That would be silly. So you're going to have to do that legwork to check. Some of the other ones that we have now, guys, out of the ones that you saw, can somebody unmute and just tell me which ones do you think are the most interesting? Anyone? I really like Amazon with Rite Aid if it wasn't acquired by Walgreens, because Amazon already purchased PillPack last year. Does anybody know who PillPack is? Anyone? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, actually my volume was a little low in case someone was talking. So they bought PillPack for $750 million last year. The reason why is Amazon does want to get into the pharmaceutical industry. They do want to get more into healthcare. And actually, that's why the Rite Aid Walgreens situation makes sense. Amazon's actually working on, and they called it a cure for the common cold. That's what they're working on right now. They do deliveries, and then they work on the cold on the side, right? But PillPack. So, Vincent, do you know what PillPack is?
Do they send you like a pack of pills every single like month or so? Sort of like a subscription service?
Yeah, Amazon is the king of subs, guys. King of subs. Don't bet against the Fed and don't bet against Jeff Bezos. They're the king of subs. So what PillPack does is they'll take your prescriptions and they'll fill them for you in a pack and then mail it to your house. So what do they look like? They literally look like Amazon branded drugs that are sent to your house. Okay? So this is Amazon sending drugs to your house to start filling prescriptions. That's all this is. They're just trying to get into your medicine cabinet. And it's genius. All right? Because the minute you're comfortable purchasing boxes of clothes and food, so they went from books to clothes and products to food with purchasing Whole Foods. Now they purchase PillPack, and God forbid, I really think the DOJ would block if they tried to buy Walgreens or Rite Aid or CVS. I really think they would block them because that would definitely be super anti-competitive. In my eyes, I could be wrong. Maybe there's more competition out there. But now you're comfortable getting your drugs from Amazon. Like, what's next? What if Amazon bought, instead of Alphabet Tyler, what if Amazon bought Teladoc? Now, Amazon syncs up the Teladoc service with PillPack, and you get your drugs directly from the doctor you see online after buying, shoes on Amazon. Like, it's unreal if they can pull that off. So, Tyler, I don't know if it really has the Amazon logo like this image. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, to be honest with you. I really don't think it has that image. I think that's just a mock-up. But, if we just type in PillPack, no, so they come just like this. You get your medication, you pull one out every day. So what it really does is, I take about 3 or 4 pills a day, right? I take my blood pressure pill, I take my multivitamin, I take whatever. Well, then all you do is look, it says Saturday. It's genius. PillPack was genius in developing this, and Amazon might have been genius in picking them up early. But look, so it says the day. You open the pack, you rip it, you pour them in your hand, you take them all. So you no longer have to go through multiple bottles, right? The whole goal, and I want you guys to think of this when you do your mergers, acquisitions, and spinoffs. The whole goal of your assignment, as a consumer, what do you like? What do you like as a consumer? What kind of experience?
Convenience.
Thank you. Perfect. That was Adrian, right? So convenience. Make something, I like this phrase, and you can coin it, but don't use it in your presentation because it's kind of rude. Idiot proof. Idiot proof. This is idiot proof. You literally pull out the box. It's like the tissue box, right? Haven't you guys ever pull out a tissue and it's like magically another tissue pops up in that spot?
All the time.
It's not right. It's like, it's not magic, but it's the way that the tissues are put together. So when you pull one out, the next one's ready. It makes it so much easier than these like towers of napkins that you buy in packages that are so obnoxious for the house, right? So that's the same thing with the PillPack. You pull out Saturday. You take all your pills in one bag so you don't forget any, right? And then Sunday pops up where Saturday was, so it's easy to grab and go. How many times are we in class and I'm like, oh, damn, I forgot to take my meds this morning, guys. How often? All the time? 3 times a week? Or they're in my pocket. Well, because just Frank doesn't listen to me. Frank never listens when I talk. So, Frank, yes, I want to talk about Frank's companies. Hold on. So, Frank, while I have you, Apple buying Sonos. So Frank sent me 2, right? Frank sent me 2. We agreed on Sonos. Now, Frank's job is going to be, so now Amazon buying PillPack was for convenience, right? Convenience for the consumer. Frank's selling on Apple buying Sonos is because Apple just started launching last year their HomePod, right? Google's got one. Everybody's got one. Okay? Apple has their Beats pill because they own Beats now. So they have all these different little gadgets and sound systems. Well, Sonos might have some proprietary technology Apple wants. You can't just buy Sonos if it's like, oh, well, they make speakers, we make speakers, it's a match made in heaven. That's not how it works. Because if Apple already has a speaker, you don't buy another speaker company unless they have something you need, right? Like if Apple were to purchase NVIDIA or Qualcomm, well, they have chips Apple uses and needs, and it would make sense for Apple to purchase them and not let any other cell phone provider use those chips anymore. So what is it that Sonos has? That's going to be part of Frank's job. It's not just how are they acquired, but if you look at the assignment, I did change number 3 slightly to be focused on the consumer, right? And yesterday with a couple of students that were in the Wednesday class, we did also fine tune number 6, which we're going to go over also. But number 3 about the consumer, why is this good for the consumer? Right? Imagine Google was buying Sonos. As an investor, I would hate it. Why are you spending your cash on buying a company that has speakers when you already have speakers? You bet your butt that Tim Cook better pop out there and tell me that Sonos has a proprietary technology that you're going to put into the phone, that you're going to put into the speakers, that you're going to put into like car sound systems. You're going to do something that's going to be integrated into your Apple Watch or, something you need that you can't build. Frank, does that make sense? So there are, and I'm going to say that there's 3 main reasons to acquire or merge. All right, but let's start with acquiring first. So you guys have to think of this. What do you think might be the first main reason you make an acquisition? So we'll do acquisitions first. What is the first main reason you do this acquisition? Now that you're thinking of your companies, give me the first main thought. Leland, you're unmuted. Let's hear from Leland. First main reason.
You see opportunity in this company and it will bring you more profits in the future.
Okay, so you see, now opportunities is too basic, right? You can't just say Apple sees an opportunity with Sonos. That wouldn't sell me as an investor. It wouldn't make me say, hell yeah, good job as a consumer. So, but if you say more revenue, I can kind of get behind that, but it's still pretty basic, right? It's a good start though, because we're talking finances. Give me something else. Why would you acquire? Newman?
It helps expand your business.
Okay, so
if there's something within that. Oh.
Go ahead. No.
So like if there's something within the business model of the business that you're trying to acquire that could help your own business model, then it makes a lot of sense for you to acquire it.
Okay, so it helps you expand. They got what you need. That's what it comes down to. They got what you need. Whether it's a new demographic like Apple purchasing Beats. Apple didn't need Beats. Their headphones are crap. Their headphones literally are crap. But Beats has a specific target market Apple couldn't get. So now they got them. So it helped them expand. It helped them get what they need, whether it is new people to purchase it or the technology, right? So it could be a new target to sell to, or new tech, or a new product line. Frank has a good one. Just eliminate the competition. Well, yeah, that is another great reason. So that could probably be, let's get rid of more revenue. No offense, Leland, although I like your idea. The revenue is not really your reason to purchase them, because with revenue comes expenses. The expansion idea, I think, is much stronger, because with expansion comes revenue, if that makes sense. So it's just about being much more specific. So you can say, eliminate not just competition, eliminate growing competition. Does that make sense? So let's buy Sonos before they get too big. Let's buy Beats before they get too big. Make sense?
Yeah.
Then you have Google. Who was Google talking about buying in the beginning of the year? Do you guys remember? Who was Google talking about buying in the beginning of the year? Yeah, Tyler. So talk to me about that, Tyler. Talk to me about that. Do you think that would be a good idea for Google? It'd probably cost them about $5 billion. Is that
I thought Google already bought Fitbit.
I know they were talking about it. I don't know if it actually went through. I didn't hear anything about it going through.
I think they did buy it. That was like one of the companies I was gonna choose for this assignment.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It was like owned by Google now.
Okay, so November 1st. November 1st, it went through. Yeah, $2.1 billion. Now, let me show you why that makes sense. Now, I'm not a Fitbit fan. I know older people, I hate to say this, like my parents, they love Fitbit. My mother has one. My father could care less. But if you were to look at Fitbit's performance over the last 5 years, or you would
It's
see that
flat.
it's not even flat. It was worth $47 a share back in 2015. And since then, it dropped to $5. So it was literally probably about a $20 to $30 billion company. Google bought them $1 billion, $2 billion. It's like a drop in the bucket. So in a situation like this where a company is doing so poorly, sometimes it makes sense to just acquire them, and then maybe they can help increase sales, right? Maybe they can use some of that data tracking inside Google. So I think that was a smart move. For $2 billion, that's nothing. That's nothing to them. They got that. That's cash. They walk around with that in their bank account. So that would work for them. So the first one might be eliminate growing competition. The second one would be they got what you need, whether it's a new target market or a new product. What might be a third reason you go through an acquisition process? Why might you purchase? The third reason you may or may not purchase a company. Well, that you may purchase, sorry.
Burn some cash.
Interesting argument, Vincent. I don't know if you want to just spend it to spend it. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, Fitbit was kind of that for Google. Fitbit was kind of, hey, let's just spend money to spend money. We'll see if it works, because it was just $2 billion. Dylan, you just unmuted. Do you have something you want to add? Can you give me a third reason?
Yeah, to reduce competition. Like you don't want them as competitors, so you rather own them.
Well, that's number one. So number one is eliminate growing competition.
Oh, never mind. I missed that.
Right? So we reduce the, I think we stick with two. So it's
Yeah.
Or even actually, how about like testing new markets?
okay, so new.
Well, that's kind of like expansion.
All right, so let's do that. I got an idea. So let's do this. So how about we do number 2 is a new target, and number 3 is new tech or products.
Like an increase in supply.
Maybe not an increase in supply, but like now Google can sell you a package. Instead of buying the Pixel 4 for $600, get the Pixel 4 and a Fitbit for $675. With $10 a month Fitbit subscription to all the, stuff that they offer, right? So now Google starts doing subscriptions. So I think when addressing your acquisition, number 1, the goal is to eliminate growing competition. Get rid of a small business. Number 2, a new target market. So I spoke with some students before, and nobody mentioned it here, so it might be the next class. Apple buying Nintendo.
Oh, that's terrible.
We can argue that. I think that would be the smartest move Apple can make. And for multiple reasons. First, they are not competition, so number 1's out, right? However, number 2, Apple's Apple Arcade gaming quote-unquote platform is terrible. They're trying to start a subscription model with the App Store for gaming. If you can integrate the Nintendo console into the Apple TV system with all the games on the cloud and then sell that cloud subscription, you significantly reduce the need for additional hardware, and you're tying people into the Apple TV Nintendo ecosystem. The controllers now can work for the Apple TV as well as the Apple TV Nintendo piece. All right. All the games you purchase would be directly from the cloud, where it can go to the Nintendo consoles you have that are now all Wi-Fi connected or Bluetooth connected, or they can download to your Apple TV. Then you also have the idea of, so that would be a new product, new technology integration, right? So what tech do you need to add? So Apple is tired of, and this is just Apple, they are exhausted of being a hardware company. So 2 years ago, they withdrew iPhone sales. They no longer tell you how many iPhones they're selling because they're tired of being considered an iPhone company. They're trying to do much more with services. The only way to do that is to buy a business that has strong services. To build your business like Netflix up would take you a decade, like happened with Netflix. So if Apple can purchase Nintendo at a higher price and then integrate all of that tech together, now you have multiple things happening. 1, new technology and new products. 2, they're not competition, so that wasn't one of them. So we jump to 3 with new tech and new products. And then we look at number 2, we have a new target market. Because those kids that play video games are, give me some qualities of people that play video games, guys. Because I know a lot.
No. It's going to get really stereotypical.
So
they're not busy people.
We could be stereotypical because when you're doing marketing, let's not be like racist about it, but try to be very broad based. So for me, okay, I'm a complete nerd, but I'm not a gamer. So I have multiple laptops and screens. So I would rather sit at my computer and work on multiple screens than go out and mingle with people. Like that's a quality of mine. Give me qualities of gamers.
Like I said, like they're not really busy.
Define that they're not. I'm sure people that play video, like I got one of my friends that I work out with, he's a gamer, but he's a corrections officer. So he's busy, but he plays video games till like 3 a.m.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
Yeah, so
Jesus.
Imagine like a big 6'1" brolic corrections officer on a headphone yelling at you playing a video game. That's what it is. So, but give me some qualities. So they have an addictive personality is 1. They don't
they're usually male.
Okay, they're often male. All right. anything else? I would say that they're addictive. A lot of times they're more male than female.
Impulsive.
They're impulsive. Okay. They have a cult-like mentality.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So here's the issue with that. Apple is a cult. Like, I hate Dylan. Because Dylan, why do I not like you, Dylan? Why don't I like Dylan?
Good question.
No. Dylan's got green messages on his phone.
I
Dylan.
have blue.
No, that's me, Mr.
Go
Power.
for Vincent.
Oh.
Yeah, that's me and Vincent.
I got a new iPhone too, so you can't come for me anymore.
God. It's ridiculous that iPhone users actually care about that.
So now here's the thing though. If you can get those Nintendo gamers to buy into the Apple ecosystem, they will never leave. Ever. So it's kind of like Beats where you're paying to get a specific demographic. Now, the benefit is you get a new target market, you get new clients, and you have a whole new product integration, and you now went from hardware to software as a big piece of business. And then you also have content for Apple TV. Because Nintendo is working on building content based off of their video games now. So there's now, I'm not saying that they should go and do this tomorrow. There's obviously financially doesn't make sense. Who knows? But that's how I need you guys to think about your business decision. Okay? You have to really think about these three. Are you eliminating competition? Number one. Are you expanding your target market? Number two. Is it new technology that you can integrate? And then tell me how are you integrating it? Don't just tell me that you are, which is why, so if you look at the assignment on my screen, consumers aren't happy. Provide 3 reasons. Okay? Synergies in products, new product offerings, office locations. Well, maybe imagine that. So Nintendo is Nintendo Japanese? I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's say that Apple was really successful in China and South Korea, but not in Japan. Now it gives Apple a foundation in Japan, and maybe Japan was more heavy into a different mobile service. Well, guess what? If those are Nintendo users who are cult-like gamers, if we get them to switch to Apple, now they never leave. Now Apple has a major foothold, in Japan. Vincent, did I convince you that this is a good idea yet?
Well, I think Apple definitely does have the cash for it. I think they should do something like NVIDIA, which is kind of like a cloud computing subscription service where you pay, instead of just using your phone, you pay to actually use the cloud and to game.
Okay. Now, I mean, now the thing is, like, Apple doesn't have content, so like, I'm not sure what you're gaming. You know, so these are the things I want you guys to find. Like, I don't want for Oshimi, I don't want you to just sit here and tell me, well, Google acquires NVIDIA because Google needs chips. You know, you have to tell me which chips. You have to tell me, is Google trying to build new technology that they need chips? Is Google quantum computing and NVIDIA is the only one that can make those chips? So Google wants to own quantum computing, and instead of Google versus Microsoft for quantum computing, Google can remove the ability for Microsoft to get those chips from NVIDIA because NVIDIA makes the chips that are needed, which hurts Microsoft and helps Google. Or Google can now sell those chips to Microsoft, and now even if Google's not first for quantum computing, they at least can sell to another company and make money off of it. Right? So Kev, you're gonna have to dive deep and not just say, well, Google makes hardware needs chips, NVIDIA makes chips that go into hardware, Google has the money, so it works. All right, so that, like, you know, Vincent with Coca-Cola and Heineken. Does Coca-Cola already have an alcohol? So then why if they have one? Right? Where is Heineken's market that Coke can't get into? You know, or does Coke not have an alcohol and Pepsi, let's say like Pepsi owned Budweiser or something like that. So Pepsi has a beer and Coca-Cola's like, damn, we need an alcoholic beverage. People like alcohol, but we don't have one. Right? So you want to capitalize on a market that you don't own. Like energy drinks. You know, companies buy energy drinks. Like Coke buying Monster. Monster is a huge company. Coke buys Monster. Why? Because there's a much bigger fitness craze that's been going on. And by being involved in that, Coke now can reap those benefits because the Coke partnerships can push Monster beverages further into the world. Possible, super possible. All right.
Wait, how about power moves?
What's a power move?
Like let's say like there's like multiple like big powers within like a certain industry, and like they're all trying to tap into a certain field. Like for example, like Amazon trying to like get into like, you know, space and whatnot. So say like there's like other businesses that are also, you know, just to kind of like flex their financial muscle, you know, they also say, okay, we're also going to tap into space and we're also going to invest in getting into companies that deal within that realm.
So like Google buys the NFL?
Google buys what?
The NFL?
Google buys the NFL.
No.
That would be crazy. Well, you heard about Microsoft. Did you hear about Microsoft and the MLB or the NBA? Microsoft just signed a deal with the NBA this week that said Microsoft will create personalized NBA experiences for the season for all viewers.
Really?
I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's a social media thing, but like Microsoft is now providing the NBA with a platform that probably doesn't exist yet.
Seems like Microsoft is just trying to go around the Department of Justice while they're busy with Corona.
Well,
they just spent like $7 billion on NPM.
everybody. Google just bought like 2 companies. Apple bought 3 companies in the past like 2 weeks. Apple bought artificial intelligence company. They bought a VR company. Look, they bought AI voice assistants right here. This is Apple, I believe. Yeah. So they bought an Irish company. Now let me ask you this. You guys are economists, all right? So Ashley, you still with me? And Richard, I never hear from you. So Richard, can I just hear your voice for a sec?
Good morning.
Hey, Richie Rich, good to hear your voice. So Richard, I need you to think now you can think from the lens of your departments, marketing, finance, design and graphic, creative, management, fine. You can also think in terms of everything we've discussed. So the thing that I hate the most is taxes, right? I hate taxes. It kills me. So what is the perk of purchasing a company stationed in Ireland? You want to fill in?
No taxes.
Oh, don't say no.
Not no taxes.
Low tax.
Less,
Lower
yeah, less.
taxes.
Like let's not just start
Wait.
yelling things out that we don't know to be true, but definitely significantly lower taxes than the United States. All right. Then you have Dark Sky. Now this is now you want to talk a power move, Newman. This is not just a power move. This is like I'm the elephant in the room. Who the hell are you move? So Apple bought Dark Sky. Dark Sky is the #1 downloaded Google weather application. Apple bought Dark Sky,
Oh my God.
removed it from the Google ecosystem. And now they're going to integrate it into the Apple weather app. But they took it down from Google.
That's ridiculous.
It's a power move. You know what? Screw you, Apple. Or screw you, Google, whatever they want. Like, so I don't know. Maybe they're going to relaunch it. Maybe they're going to relaunch it with, you know, an Apple thing to it so Apple can read your data on your Google phone. I don't know. You know, so maybe for location services and things like that. So Apple's going to start getting some of your data from your phone. It's possible. I would not remove it forever. But like that's something that Apple's doing. There is something with Dark Sky. Dark Sky is the #1 app for weather on Google. Well, if you're Apple, don't you want to be on that phone too? Because you don't have data on those users. Now you do. You know where they are. You know where they're traveling. You know the weather they're looking at. You have location services. You can start tracking these people. You have more data. So that would be a reason for Apple to purchase Dark Sky. All right, so Voices for Ireland, there's tax benefits, and they are doing more with, obviously, voice assistant and artificial intelligence with their speakers. And then they bought Dark Sky. All right. January, they bought another company, artificial intelligence again. In December, Spectral Edge. I assume this United Kingdom company is going to be integrated into their next 5G phone that comes out in the fall. Same thing with motion capture in October. All right. Back-end workflow development. I have no idea. It's an Italian company. I have no idea what StamPlay does. Bought them for $5 million. Like, that cost them nothing, $5 million. They have that in their pocket. So let's take a look at Alphabet. Alphabet is the king of acquisitions. Now, I've told you guys about Ruth Porat, just to show you what she looks like. Ruth Porat, Google CFO. This is my girl, Ruth Porat. She is superhero. I told you guys when she got hired as their CFO, she said she felt like a mom because Sergey, the co-founder and CEO, they were just buying companies, like just throwing money away. So she said she felt like a mom trying to reduce their spending habits. So they've made acquisitions, but it's much more, I guess you'd say, specific for specific purposes. Okay. So why file storage? Why learning apps? Why cloud hosting? Why video game development? So Typhoon, right? They bought Typhoon. Why? Because they're building Stadia up. So maybe it's Google who should buy Nintendo. So these are look at some of these popular purchases, but I also challenge you guys, like I said, if you haven't done your research, start looking at other businesses outside of the big kahunas. Maybe Nintendo should merge with a smaller business and try to fight against the Googles and Amazons of the world. No, those are options. You don't have to just pick these big businesses and make them bigger. You can look at acquisitions. Look at a spinoff. No one has submitted to me a spinoff. I'd love to see one if somebody has that in mind. Convince me that YouTube spinning out of Google makes sense. That YouTube is confined by being a Google company. Right? Is that possible? So,
YouTube doesn't even turn a profit. There's no way they can survive on their own.
YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do.
They do not.
YouTube, yes, they do. This was 2015. Because so here's one of the things about Google. Google doesn't release what every small business they own generates. That's why it's so hard to determine whether or not you want to buy the stock. Because they never used to give out last quarter, and that's why this quarter next week, I believe, is going to be huge for them. Google never used to give out like all these little, so this is Google's corporate structure, right? Alphabet structure. So this is Alphabet's actual structure with all these little side businesses that they have. They never really used to spin off and tell you how much each little business earned, right? They never would tell you what Google Ventures earns, what Google Play, Google Capital, Google Fiber, Google X, Calico, Nest. They would never really tell you that. They would just give you Alphabet earnings as a whole. Last quarter, they just started giving you revenue, expenses, and profit for more of these companies. That's why Google stock went up, because they're being more transparent. So imagine plucking out YouTube. YouTube can fight Disney Plus. YouTube can fight Netflix at some point. So would it make sense for YouTube to be its own business like a Netflix, and then not be considered an Alphabet or Google company, and be able to grow in any way they want without being confined by Alphabet? Because YouTube is much further along than, I would say, Apple TV. All right, so I just wanted to get you guys thinking. Please, I know that we have like 1 minute left. You guys got to go. I'm not going to change your part 3 anymore. I changed it yesterday in the morning. All I did was tweak this. So number 3 is about the consumers. Number 4 is, how is this not anti-competitive? Because that's what the Department of Justice is arguing. Investors aren't happy. You have to investors. And then number 6 is the balance sheet and income statement, talking about the finances of the business. We are going to do part 6 together. Okay? We're going to do that tomorrow, strictly that. You should be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 without part 6. If you're struggling right now because you want to figure out how to financially pull this off, then don't even do the finances yet of how it happens, right? Like Ashley is doing BMW and Tesla. Well, maybe a merger makes more sense than an acquisition. Maybe an acquisition makes more sense. But Ashley knows that she wants to do these 2 businesses. That's fine. Ashley can do part 3, part 4 today, and then we can discuss the finances tomorrow. So do the product side, do the consumer side, bullet this out. I wouldn't dive straight into a presentation. I would do this in a Word document and have bullets and bullets and bullets and bullets and bullets, just so you can get your ideas on paper. All right? And then tomorrow, we are fully only going to focus on the finances. All right? Does that make sense? Tomorrow strictly is all finances. So make sure you're here for that. And if you can, you know, you don't have to have it ready, but maybe open up the stock price, and in Yahoo Finance, click on financials, and you'll get the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow for your public companies. Other websites also have it, if it's a public company. If it's a private business, you know, maybe it's a pizza shop down the street from you. I don't mind that. Maybe it's a pizza shop and a deli that are next door. Hey, listen, these should be one business. You don't have to use these large, gigantic businesses, all right? But are there any questions on that? I'm glad that we got to talk about your stuff. I'm glad that we got to go through the 3 reasons why there's an acquisition or a merger. Spin-offs would really just be because there's more room to grow, not under a parent company. All right. You guys have any questions for me? Tomorrow will be strictly finance. But if you have no questions, I will let you guys get to your next class.
Questions.
No questions.
Stay safe, Coward.
All right, guys, take off. I will see you tomorrow. I will post this live session briefly. Tomorrow, finance. So again, if you're worried about doing this presentation, you can start doing some research minus the finance. We'll do the finance tomorrow. All right, guys. Peace, love, and happy Thursday.
You too.